What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show on this beautiful postseason pre-divisional round Eve Thursday. I'm your host, Simon Grunewald, here with my best pal and co-host, John Garofalo. What's up, JL?
Did you say Evie? That's it. Did you say Evie?
I guess I did, but then I added another V on the end. Eve. Games start on Saturday, right? I'm not crazy.
They do. Yep.
Days of the week start meaning less whenever there's not Thursday and Monday football every week. I start getting confused on what day of the week it is. Like Thursday was a good barometer, a good check-in point. Like, okay, there's football today. It's Thursday, and it would reset me. Now it's just like, is it Tuesday? Is it Friday? Is there football on today?
It's just going to get worse as soon as football is no longer here, Simon. The offseason, you're just like straight limbo. You have no idea what day it is.
None of the other sports help because they're on every day. Basketball's on every day. Baseball's on more than 7 days a week. We got some people in the chat ready for today's mock. Scott Fish down here saying, I wish more people would do lots of mocks than join startups and bail. The dynasty industry has been taking major hits from years for the startup itch. I'm with you, Scott. I love dynasty leagues, but I have a rule that I don't join new dynasty leagues anymore. The number of ones that
you have a problem, Simon.
The number of ones that I joined and then it just kind of stopped or people didn't care. Like dynasty is only fun if you have the time to invest into it. Like that's what makes dynasty fun. If you've got 10 of them, I wish I was good at time management enough to manage 10 dynasty leagues and have fun doing it.
Yeah, I have like my two main ones, which you were in both of those, Simon. And it feels like the rest have definitely had that effect to it. Industry leagues will definitely do that to you.
Best ball is the way forward. Scott Fishbowl is an exception. That is a beautiful tournament that you have fun setting your lineup every single week. But best ball for a lot of these other events, they're wonderful. Craig Downey says, legend has it that this may be the 116th FYF show mock draft. Can you confirm, John Luke?
Whoa. I can confirm, maybe.
Beautiful. Scott says, good on them. And then I always miss this show, but I saw a tweet and remembered it existed today. Currently doing a psych rewatch, season 1, episode 4.
That's a good episode.
Is that the one where the guy goes to the place, that thing happens, it's a mess,
things, and they light up if they're important, and then he uses those light up things to put together the puzzle.
I've never seen a single episode of Psych.
Oh, it's so good.
I've seen clips, but that's the extent of it. Maybe it's my next show. We still have some spots left in this draft, guys. 3 of them to be exact. I'll post a link down here in the chat again, but if you would like to mock draft with us, grab one of these spots and we'll get started here ever so shortly. Scott wants to know, has Maria commented on the beard, JL?
Great timing, Simon, as I plug in my laptop. Maria has commented on the beard nearly daily at this point, asking me to cut it off.
Oh, she asked you to cut it off today?
Oh, yeah, not today, every day.
Oh, well, we'll see. You're married now, so now does that mean you have to listen more or you have to listen less?
Well, I wanted to cut it off anyway because I'm sick of it and I hate it.
It's scratchy and itchy.
It's scratchy, it's itchy. I go like this all the time, which makes me look like a douchebag.
Jail, as you said that, I was already doing it. I was sitting here scruffing my beard.
Case in point.
Craig down here saying Houston always has the first playoff game when they make it. Quite comical. Well, they roped the Ravens into first playoff game with them this weekend. JL, how are you feeling about that game? That Houston team looks hot, and they just torched what was supposed to be the best defense in the NFL in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about them, though. Out of everybody in the AFC in the playoffs, Texans are probably the team I'd want to play as the Ravens, so I'm not too worried. I think Ravens are the best team in the AFC right now. So I think Texans are going to give them a run for their money. I'm not too worried though.
Yeah, I expect this game to have a lot of points. This is the game I'm most excited to watch this weekend. That Ravens secondary has been beatable down the stretch of this season, and that Texans defense hasn't been top notch. They shut down the Browns all right, but besides that, it hasn't been incredible. And Lamar is just absolutely on fire this year. I'm so hyped for this game. And I'm with you. I think the Ravens are the better team, but this isn't an unwinnable game for the Texans. Like you could see CJ Stroud coming in hot. One turnover goes the wrong way. That could be the difference in a game like this.
Yeah, the Texans are good enough to pull off an upset, and the Ravens love to give people a show. So They are big fans of the upset. I could see them facilitating it.
Craig wants in the jail. Are you worried about Lamar having to poop during the game?
I'm worried about that every game. I didn't know I should be worried about that until it happened, and then now I've just had PTSD ever since.
Are you worried about yourself having to poop during the game?
Poop traumatic stress disorder.
Poop
For
traumatic
sure.
stress disorder. Yeah, I've got that one. Scott is requesting that whenever you do shave, do mustache only for at least one picture.
Such a good idea.
God, the best days in college were the days when Tim would shave his chest or our other hairy-chested
And do
friend
a
Hunter
heart.
would shave his chest, and we'd get
Yes.
like progression pics of their chest, like the first shape, first buzz, half
Yep.
buzz, nothing, flower, hearts, and now we're bare, baby.
Oh man, I need some chest hair art. Chat, send me some chest hair art. Your own, preferably.
Well, guys, we got 2 spots left. We're going to wait a little bit longer. We'll give it 2, 3 more minutes to fill up. If not, we'll just have some computers in there drafting with us during this. But I'm sure we can get those spots filled. JL,
Dynasty.
outside from the Ravens game this weekend, which game are you most excited to watch?
Oh man, probably it's Bills Chiefs also, right?
Yeah,
Or
Bills
the other
Chiefs
that like
are
that's
Sunday
got to be the
evening.
top game.
I don't know. That the Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield,
That could be
Buccaneers,
fun. Yeah,
Lions in Detroit game is just like screaming to me that it's going to be awesome.
that game is gonna be sick, and I feel like that's just like two really fun teams that are just gonna go all out. But I don't know which one's gonna win. Like my heart says Lions. I feel like it should be Lions, but I could see Baker just pulling off like a just end of season run here.
Absolutely. He's the kind of dude you could see kind of just getting hot in the playoffs if he's going the right way. This is the game I'm most excited for and that I have the least. The only reason I think I'm cheering for the Lions is because I think the Lions have the better chance of taking it all the way and winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And like that would be the fun story is if one of these teams came from where they came from, Lions a couple years ago, Tampa Bay from the expectations at the beginning of the season and pulled out an unlikely Super Bowl run. That would be sick. I just don't see the Bucs doing it. I don't see the Bucs getting past the Ravens, and if they somehow manage to do that, I don't see them getting it done in the Super Bowl. The Lions, I
Ravens. Why
could.
would the Bucks play the Ravens before the Super Bowl?
Oh, you're right. I'm on the wrong side of that one. Oops. They don't
Am I
have to play
tripping?
the Ravens. No, but I don't see the Bucs able to put together a full run. They may be able to
Yeah.
pull off another win. The Lions are a team that we could see winning the entire thing. It looks like we are all full up in this draft now, John Luke. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. We are doing a dynasty startup draft. No rookies yet because the NFL draft hasn't even started getting close to happening yet. We're
Settle
still
down.
months away. So no rookies in here. This is going to be all veterans. In this hypothetical league, we would later then do a rookie supplementary draft where the draft order would be reversed from last to first. At least that's generally how it's done. This is Superflex. So the roster is as follows. It is a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, 1 flex, and then 1 super flex position. Unless we put 2 flex in there. We might have put 2 flex in there. I'll check. It is 2 flex and a super flex. So this is a deep roster. We're going to do as much bench as we can within the hour. We've got 5 set there. If we can't fit that many, we'll call it. But if we can fit more, we'll add another round or 2 onto the end here as well. Gary's got the first pick. I'm drafting from the 12 spot accidentally from the Front Yard Fantasy account because I messed that up about 80% of the time. And JL is from the 10 spot. Let's go.
Because I chose it.
You did choose the 10 spot when you thought this was a 10-team draft, right? Or you chose the 9 spot?
The 9 spot, yeah.
Shifted it. I'm really curious to see where some of these rookies go because they have not updated yet in a lot of the sleeper rankings as to maybe where they should be.
Like the current rookies, you're saying.
The current rookies, like
they're gonna be sophomores.
You know what? I'm just gonna say their name because I think he might be a first round pick. Where the hell is CJ Stroud gonna go? After what he put together, what he looks like, the playoff game he just had, his age, the coach that he's paired with, like it's a dynasty manager's wet dream. Like he could be next.
Phrase.
A dynasty manager's wet dream.
Yeah.
A dynasty manager's dry dream. Causing every dynasty manager to shoot blanks.
Man, Rashad Penny's definitely a dynasty manager's Dry dream.
He's your dry dream. Okay, well, at least it's going pretty close to how it would have gone last year. Maybe Hurts would have been a little bit higher up. I don't know if people are worried based on what they saw from him this year.
Are you?
I'm not. Hurts is still that's the tier he belongs in. He's ahead of Burrow for me. Probably up there with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson in that tier. And there goes CJ Stroud, the 6th quarterback off the board. Now, JL, where would you take him? It's 7 quarterbacks in a row here. CJ Stroud, the youngest, the only rookie in that bunch. Do you think this is the right spot? Too early?
I think this is the right spot. I would take everybody ahead of him. And Herbert, I think, is the interesting one. So I could see making a case for Stroud over Herbert. Just worried about the uncertainty on that team. I would take Herbert over Stroud at this point.
You would take Herbert over Stroud at this point?
Yeah.
The changing coaching staff there, the aging pieces around Herbert, does that worry you? Austin Ekeler, It looked like he lost a step this year. Keenan Allen, every year people think he's 47, but he's actually getting close to 47 at this point. Mike Williams hasn't stayed healthy over the past couple of years.
His whole life.
God, I swear I spent the entire offseason just saying, like, Mike Williams isn't actually injury prone, guys. Go look at his game logs. He plays most of the time. And then he just comes out this year and poo-poos on me.
Confirmation bias. People will fall into again and again. That always drives me nuts when people get too caught up on like one player's injury past. CMC was one I looked into recently, Simon, where I was like so sick of people talking bad about CMC. He had 2 bad seasons, and it felt like outside of that, he's always been available. So I went and looked this past year. That was 100% true. He only missed games in basically his 2 seasons where he was injured 2 separate times. They just happened to happen one after the other. You gotta be careful. Some of those narratives
get so sticky. It's like the Amari Cooper inconsistent narrative. Like when he was with Oakland, he was wildly inconsistent. But the second he left Oakland, he's been one of the most consistent wide receivers in the league for fantasy for years now. But it's hard to shake that perception that you had built up when you were in Oakland. Yeah. We got some more people in the chat stopping by. Brady saying he's most excited about the Packers and 49ers game. What's up, Brady?
Good time, my man. Good to see you.
Yeah, that's another great game. Jordan Lovers. We just got some great narratives in here. The future of the Packers versus Mr. Irrelevant. Baker, the one kick to the curb versus the comeback of the century, Mr. Jared Goff. Scamper stopping by with a good afternoon, FYFers. What's up?
Hello, kitty cat.
And Craig said cross-conference reseeding. New the playoffs this year. Yeah, that's my bad. I mixed up my conferences. JL, I've talked to you about this before, but with conferences, I feel like I always have, like, I can tell you which 4 teams are in the same division no matter what. I feel like I always have to play like a reverse logic puzzle game to like, okay, so Tim likes the Dolphins and the Browns and the Dolphins couldn't play in the Super Bowl. So they're both in the same conference. They're AFC. And then I like, okay, and the Chiefs played the Patriots in this, and then I start piecing it together. I need to just like make flashcards or something.
We've been saying it forever. You just got to get like a fat head on the wall.
Of all of them, that would be sick. I'm going to put that up behind my desk. Damon here said FYF. Yay. What's up, Dame? Welcome
up, Dame?
Scott saying Stroud 101.
No way. That is 100% exaggeration, right?
I wouldn't be upset if I saw someone put him in the same tier, in the top tier of quarterbacks. Yes, I think there's more risk with him than with any of the other pieces around it. But the point Brady just added down here, the Texans are also in a very, very good position after that Deshaun Watson trade, all the cap space that they have. This is what they did in year 1 with CJ Stroud. They're just going to continue building around that guy. I doubted him. I was not a CJ Stroud truther coming in, but I'm coming around.
You think this is for in that Houston franchise? Do you think the reason for their success is on CJ Stroud primarily, or is it on DeMeco Ryans primarily, or is it just multiple things going right for them this season?
I think it's probably a combination of the two. DeMeco Ryans seems like he's doing an incredible job running that team, getting them motivated.
I like when they pan to him at the end of a game that they win. He just looks so happy every time.
Oh, he's thrilled to be out. And they seem to love that dude. And CJ Stroud seems like the right guy to be in there leading that team right now. So I don't think this happens with, I don't know, with Davis Mills under helm. They're probably not sneaking into the playoffs, winning a game, winning their division. But D'Amico Ryans probably would have had an impact to make that team look better, regardless of CJ Stroud there. Yeah, I do think Stroud 101 is a bit extreme, but I wouldn't be upset if I saw someone's rankings and they had Stroud in tier 1.
Yeah, seems a bit reactionary, in my opinion, but I don't think he's that far off.
Damon here said all the Chargers' main pieces could all be traded because they are in cap hell. Yeah, I'm worried about the situation around Herbert. That being said, he's still Justin freaking Herbert, so you can't be too worried. Brady wants to know, is this a tight end premium draft? It is not, just PPR. PPR. And Scamper said, already won the draft. Bye, everyone. Who does Scamper take? CJ Stroud and Jordan Love.
Ooh, that's
He's got
sick.
the hype train
That's
team.
pretty sick.
You leave that draft and you're just like smiling. Joe, what do you think about my turn over there? I usually don't go double quarterback early, but I love the value of these like two quarterbacks on the end. One real young, one breaking out. I feel like the value still hasn't caught up in Tua.
Yeah, Tua's interesting. I feel like people do just aren't as excited about him because he isn't. I don't know. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but he doesn't have like the numbers that you think for what his skill position players are doing. But I'm with you, Simon. I'm optimistic. We've both been pretty bullish on Tua over the last few years, and it feels like he's a pretty safe option there. I can't imagine that offense would just suddenly shift away from Tua.
No, I can't imagine that either. And I can't imagine them suddenly not being great with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane, and Mr. McDaniel running the show over there.
I wish you just watch Hard Knocks so that we could talk about it because Tua is just such a little sweetie in Hard Knocks.
Well, someone get me an HBO Max login and I will start watching immediately.
Mr. Max, make it happen.
His name's not Bo? H-Bo?
Nope.
Harry Bo Max? I thought that was his name.
His full name, but everybody calls him Max.
That's my favorite candy, Harry Bo Max. The big gummy bears.
Is it a real thing?
No, but maybe Haribo makes big extra sized gummy bears.
Haribo. Is that how you say that?
I think so. Maybe it is Haribo. How would you say the gummy bear brand?
I don't think I've ever said it in my head or out loud.
I've just called them gummy bears.
Yeah, same.
So look, gummy bears in the gold bag.
Yeah. I'm really not too concerned with the brand of the gummy bear.
What did you? Oh, you started with like the opposite of Mr. Scampers, but I don't dislike your start. These are some maybe post-hype players going into next season. Two players that were expected to make a big jump this year and then disappointed on where they were going. Garrett Wilson, this is shockingly later than he was being drafted last year. He probably was ahead of CeeDee Lamb. He was a top 3 dynasty wide receiver. Now he's going wide receiver 5. Trevor Lawrence also, we thought he was probably going to jump up into that top tier with Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, but there was a real disappointing end of the season for him fantasy-wise.
Garrett Wilson, both of those guys just feel like really safe bets at those spots in the draft. You mentioned both of them aren't necessarily hyped right now, but I think that's perfect. I think that's bringing their value down a little bit enough here, and they have so little risk between the two of them that I'm super happy with that start. I had trouble picking that second pick though, because I was having a hard time choosing between Garrett Wilson, Bijan Robinson, and Justin Fields.
So the Justin Fields pick is interesting to me right there, ahead of guys like Jordan Love, Dak Prescott. I guess those are maybe really the only two names because we don't know. Justin Fields' position is so up in the air right now. Like, it is making an assumption, one that I'm probably going to make, that he'll be a starter next year. The Bears are looking like they're going to draft Caleb Williams with that first overall pick. The thinking is that Justin Fields gets traded. But there's a lot of risk there. Now, Justin Fields ends up on the Falcons with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bill Belichick as the head coach. Sign me up for this second round draft cost. You know what I mean? But if he ends up somewhere as a backup competing for a job, I don't know. Are you worried at all?
Yeah, there's definitely risk there. I'm I'm not too worried though. It feels like his skill set and talent, like unless he isn't really able to progress, it feels like he's gonna keep getting shots, whether that's in Chicago or elsewhere. I would be surprised if they move away from Justin Fields. I think the only situation which they do that is if they get that option like Caleb Williams, which they feel is significantly better than Justin Fields. But I'm not too worried about Fields in that case. That would just kind of marginally change his value depending on where he is.
I see
Oh, it's
Brady.
me.
It is you, Brady Danielson. I can't take Tua quite that high. Would be end of second round for me. I will admit that his upside isn't as high as some of these guys going after him. I think Jordan Love, heck, even Justin Fields probably have higher upside than Tua. But the way they run that offense, I think there's just a safety in Tua standing back there. Joey said, guys, I'm going to miss the show. I've been stuck on It's a Small World for 2 solid hours. It's a
Oh
small
no.
world.
Do they play the song the whole time?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Brutal.
Do you think he's naked like that guy in the viral video?
Of course he's naked.
Do you think he's the reason
It's
the
Joey
rise?
at Disney World.
Do you think he was naked before or after boarding It's a Small World?
I think he was naked before and after.
This is only tangentially related. Oh, shoot. It's my turn. I'll tell you afterwards. Stall.
To Joey being naked on It's a Small World. I've never actually been to Disney World, Joey. I've only been to Disneyland.
Is that the one in California?
Yeah.
Well, you've been to Disneyland, but you haven't been to Disney World, and you grew up as an East Coast kid, right?
Yep, that is all true.
That is interesting.
Yep.
Well, I don't usually go running back early, but I'm taking one because with those two quarterbacks up there, it kind of gave me a lot of flexibility age-wise for my draft, right? Like they're both young, so I can build a for the future team, but they're also, I expect both of them to be top 10 quarterbacks next year. Like you can easily build an older team as well here. So running back, I don't know what the shelf life of running backs can deteriorate in 1 year. The situation can change so rapidly. I'm not even worrying about age as much there, just current opportunity. Wide receivers is where I'm taking maybe age a little bit into account. And those first two picks make me almost throw that out the window too. This will be more like a redraft draft for me based on this start than most dynasty drafts are.
Now what do I do, Simon?
Poop your pants? I don't know. Another wide receiver. Second quarterback. I think Bryce Young's still on the board.
I don't hate Bryce Young here.
No, I was saying that semi-seriously. I know that's like the cardinal rule, but it's the first mock draft of the offseason. The first overall pick on the Panthers.
I'm just going to get a quarterback in the rookie draft. I'm going to go with Devonta Smith. 2 flex league. These flex positions become that much more valuable. I want to capture some of this top tier talent at the top of wide receiver and see what happens.
Devonta Smith is so good.
Swamp is like stealing my strategy here, though.
Yeah. I like that move, John Luke, especially mentioning you'll get a quarterback in the rookie draft. This year's rookie draft, and knowing what we said at the beginning, that the rookie draft will be inverse order. You've got the 3rd overall pick. There's 4 quarterbacks people are hyped about going into this draft. You'll be able to land one if you want one.
Now it's more risky. That's like definitely putting my odds at winning that first year a little bit more slim, because those rookie quarterbacks there's no guarantee they're going to be great.
Yeah, for every CJ Stroud, there's a Josh Rosen.
Right. Ooh, Drake London is a good pick by Toasty.
Toasty killing it in here. Craig said the Pitts pick is based on the rumors that Bill B is taking over as head coach of the Falcons.
It's just following Jonnu Smith.
Dude, I just feel like ever since they mentioned Bill Belichick to the Falcons, I've been like, that makes so much sense. That is such a fun place for him to come in. Your biggest competition is Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Okay, you've got Kyle Pitts, you've got Drake London, you've got Bijan Robinson. All you got to do is bring a quarterback in. You have a above average defense. The Falcons secondary especially is great. Like that's a team that like I believe the rumors. As soon as that got mentioned, I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense than the Chargers.
Dang, Simon. And if my theory that Bill Belichick is just like he's hyper focused on getting Shula's record and most wins of any coach,
Yeah.
then that Falcons spot might be pretty enticing given that
Right.
division. The
Twice a year against the
division,
Panthers, twice a year against the
yeah,
Saints.
he can essentially shortcut or potentially shortcut the time it takes, how many seasons he has to commit to in order to get that record.
Yeah, it just makes a lot. Or does he
Dang,
want to join the
Simon.
division with the Chiefs, Raiders, and Broncos? Like, I don't know. I would just rather
The
come on over
conference.
into this
Oh, the other. Okay, so yeah,
Buccaneers, Saints, Panthers division.
yeah. I guess the Chargers have a quarterback though,
Yeah, they do
which is
have
nice.
Justin Herbert, which is a big plus. But if Kirk Cousins is available,
Plus,
that's lovely as a potential quarterback for the Falcons. Justin Fields to the Falcons is the dream, I think, for fantasy managers.
yeah.
Because boy, would it be so sad for all of the Justin Fields managers, myself included, to just have to watch him behind Caleb Williams.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that would be brutal. He just
that
gets
just hurt my feelings so bad. Oh man, if Bill
what's the name?
Belichick goes to the Falcons, Craig's right. Kyle Pitts is all of a sudden going to be exactly what we gave up on him being this year. Like, I feel like everyone this year was finding like, okay, fine, maybe Kyle Pitts isn't going to happen, and then Bill Belichick to the Falcons, it's going to happen. He may get hyped up to like number one dynasty tight end before the season starts if Bill Belichick ends up as the coach there.
Why would Bill Belichick boost him up so much?
Because of his history with Rob Gronkowski. I think the
Hmm,
perception of Bill Belichick and high level fantasy tight ends, I think Gronk really bolsters that impression.
that makes sense. I felt like I feel like I was taking, in my mind, I was taking the other side of it because of his more recent usage of tight ends, like the Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith maneuvers, which
That
I
is a
guess
great point.
Hunter Henry was relevant for a time.
Yeah, he had like some top 10 seasons in there.
I even meant like with Bill Belichick over the
Yeah.
last couple years, he's had a few games which he's done well, just not super consistent.
Scamper says no rules in the first offseason mock.
Are there
You
what
know,
rules are we do we not have?
none of them.
None of them, all of them.
Not a single rule, JL.
My God, Simon, I'm going insane. What is the name of the quarterback? What's the name of the quarterback the 49ers drafted that Brock Purdy replaced? Trey Lance. Thank you.
Trey Lance. Oh,
Jeez.
yeah. Thanks for bringing that one up.
I don't remember why I was trying to remember his name.
Where is he now?
Dallas.
Is he still with Dallas?
That's a good
Maybe
question. I don't know if he got. Yeah, he's Dallas.
they move on.
Are they gonna trade him?
No, they're gonna make him the starter over Dak. Jerry Jones is gonna say Trey Lance is the future and kick Dak to the curb.
I watched. Maria sent me sent me a TikTok yesterday. This super Cowboys fan or Cowboys super fan, I guess is the right way to say it. And it's like a 2 minute video of this guy just basically like in his man cave hyping up the Cowboys.
I saw that
You saw
video.
this?
Yeah.
The whole video, I'm sitting there like waiting for him to accidentally lose grip of the ball and just smash his TV. And it never happened. I watched the whole video just like, when's he gonna do it? When's he gonna break that TV?
Like Wii remote style, like Wii bowling
Hmm.
style, like it just flies out.
Oh man, remember when we came out and that was like all those videos were like the thing?
Dude, when
People just just throwing fastballs of their Wii remotes into their LCD screens.
sometimes they'd get embedded in there, sometimes just make it go all wonky. Yeah, it was a whole subgenre of videos going there for a while.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
I'm liking Toasty's team so far.
It was
Justin
team.
Jefferson, JSN, and Drake London paired with Justin Fields and Bryce
Oh
Young.
my
That's
God.
Toasty. Good God, man.
I hate that Bryce Young made it all the way back to Toasty.
That's absurd, right? Almost made it back to you.
Oh boy.
Would I rather have Bryce Young in the 5th or Tua at the beginning of the 2nd? Give me Bryce Young at the end of the 5th. That's awesome value.
Yeah.
Greg said it isn't talked about much for a good reason, but Aaron Hernandez was a heck of a tight end on the field as well. And that was under Bill Belichick.
Very true. Yep.
But I do think Bill Belichick has that perception as being a tight ends coach, a coach that can support fantasy tight ends.
Oh, I don't know what to do here, Simon.
It's okay. You got 15 seconds. Maybe another wide receiver because you still have 2 flex spots. You just filled your wide receiver spots out.
Blah, blah, blah.
Dang it! You stink ass. You
That makes me happier.
stink ass man.
It's so funny how like just you wanting him made me happier that I picked him.
You're like, oh, good pick.
Yeah, at first I was like, I guess I'll take him. And then the minute you indicated you wanted him, I was like, oh, great pick, JL. Steal.
Nailed it. That's pretty funny. Well, now what am I supposed to do? Well, no, because
George Kittle?
No, I wanted one of those tight ends, one of the ones that are all gone now.
T-Riss Kelsey?
No, I can't do it anymore. What happened at the end of this season? I think he's actually old now.
He's so big.
That's such a big man.
I thought you shrunk when you got older. I think Travis Kelsey's just growing.
Wait, where did he go?
Travis Kelsey's at the top.
No, where's DJ Moore? Oh, they went right before Travis Etienne. That was a while ago. Dang it.
Oh, that always happens to me in these.
I don't know ADP yet, so I'm getting a little shoot. Okay. That was a panic pick, but I'm not unhappy with it.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. He did it again this year. He was just consistent.
I feel like you're drafting like our combined greats here.
Me and you?
Yeah, this is like all the players that you and I collectively talk about, except for Richardson. That's Joey for some reason up there.
It's a Front Yard Fantasy greatest hits team is what we got going on right here.
Scottfish said you 100% do shrink when you get older. So you're telling me you were bigger before, Scott? How is that possible? How could you possibly be taller?
JL, can you name the 2 parts of your body that never stop growing?
Yes, I was about to say tongue. Your feet is definitely one.
Old people are just running around with tongues dragging on the floor.
Your feet is definitely one of them. Is it actually? I don't know. My feet have not really grown much since your hands. Maybe that's what it is. I'm just thinking of appendages. Maybe I don't know, Simon. Is it your nose?
Scott and Craig both got this one right. It is nose and ears. Your ears and nose never stop growing. What? And did you know you are born with the size eyes that you have right now as a baby?
Eyes?
Your eyeballs never grow.
What? Stop telling me interesting stuff.
Sorry. I know it. Now you have to.
I don't know what to do here. All the running backs are gone.
Scott said, I know. I was just thinking the same. I was like, I don't want any of these guys. Maybe an injured Nick Chubb is okay, but besides that, I'm a little out. Scott said I was 6'3", but if I remember correctly, 6'3" and 5/8. Now I'm 6'2" at best. More like 6'1" and 5/8. I've seen you, Scott.
Asymptote. Oh, I hate that pick.
Jail, there's a guy at the rock climbing gym. I've said this on stream before, but he looks so much like Scott. Like they have the same exact like beard color, head shape. They're both so tall and have like a smile on when they're walking around, like kind face. I get confused like once a week thinking Scott's at my rock climbing gym. And I know it's not him.
You think Scottfish can rock climb?
He could probably just like stand at the bottom and jump up and grab the top. Tim said I should have put my nose and ears elsewhere then. Yeah, you idiot. Why didn't you do that? It looks like we have a special guest joining us in the middle of our mock draft live with his pants on, Joey Wright. What's up, Joey?
Hi, I'm at Disney World. There's a castle behind me. Look at that. Whoa.
Nice. You haven't been kicked out yet?
What?
You haven't been kicked out yet?
No. I was on Small World for 2 hours. We were stuck, and they let us off finally. And then we found the Wicked Stepsister, so we're in line. But I want to say hi to everybody and crash the show.
Wait, so you being stuck was not a fake story? That was 100% real? Hi. Have fun at Disney World.
All right. Okay, say hi, Eliza. Hi. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good draft.
Bye. See you, Joey.
Put your pants on.
I feel like experiencing Disney as a parent is an entirely different
Sucks.
experience. No, I feel like it would be so much fun. Like the joy in a child's eyes at like a man in a mouse suit at their favorite princess around the corner, scaring the shit out of them on the Snow White ride because it's actually terrifying.
So I'm sorry, are you driving joy out of the child being happy or the child being terrified?
Both. I think being a parent is difficult.
Any extreme emotion. I'm trying to.
Yeah, we're just trying to create memories here, JL.
I'm just trying to, emotionally jostle my young child.
You just want to create really strong emotions. That way the memories are stickier. That way they remember them more. They can attach it to the time dad scared the shit out of them at Disney World. Oh, and then we got churros and sat on the park and talked about the universe.
Those churros are probably $50.
Yeah, but I bet they're good. I bet they're not even that good.
I was going to say, $50 worth good? Are they better than Costco churros?
Swamp said, wonder if I could convince one of my wide receivers to be a running back. It's happened before. Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, there you go. That is one.
I can't think of another one, but that's at least one that happened right there.
I can't think of anyone either.
Terrell Pryor? I feel like he played every position at some point.
He went to wide receiver. He didn't go to running back. He's too little to be a running back. Too skinny.
Ujale grabbed a little stack there with Calvin Ridley for Trevor Lawrence. Did you prioritize Calvin Ridley at all because you had T-Law already, or was it just a best wide receiver available move?
I mean, that was kind of like the tiebreaker, but it was mostly best player available. And I don't even know if that, I didn't feel super confident taking him there. I wasn't super confident that he was the best player there, is a better way to say it. So, weird spot in the draft at my position, but Calvin Ridley, I don't hate it. I just feel meh about it.
I am optimistic that what we saw from the Jaguars over the first half of the season can be reached again and then built upon, and that this late season collapse isn't indicative of what this Jaguars team is. So I think you can get some values on Jaguars players, especially in redraft next year. Dynasty, the prices might be a little bit stickier, but I'm with you, John Luke. We had a question in here from St. Louis fans. Mr. Discount said, in a 2-quarterback league keeper, would you keep Jordan Love or CJ Stroud?
Ooh, I'd keep Stroud.
So would I, assuming cost is the same. Like if it's you just lose your first pick or whatever it is, then I'm keeping Stroud. But
yeah,
is there a price? Like if it was but these guys were both drafted late, so both of them are going to be extreme values. It's probably just Stroud no matter what.
Yeah, it would depend on one quarterback or super flex. There's a couple of different variables I think would go into that, like when it might make sense to go Jordan Love over Stroud, but without those details, I think it's Stroud is definitely the guy in most formats.
Scott said, I'm injecting my eyeballs with HGH to get Dobby-like.
Dobby-like.
He says, you can't tell me what doesn't grow.
Scott Fish just runs into the room with his wife. He's like, what does this remind you of? She's like, oh, I don't know. He's like, Dobby, are you kidding me?
Scott Fish is a free elf. Just runs in screaming, wearing a potato sack, but it only goes down to like his belly button. He's fully nude besides it.
Scott Fish didn't want to harm Harry Potter.
Scott Fish couldn't find a potato sack big enough. They don't make 6'1" and 5/8 potato sacks.
Scott Fish had to work with what he got.
Scott says, I have strong grip and hands for my manual labor job. It helps me at my rock climbing gym.
Oh, he's definitely got a garage full of potato sacks. Not a doubt in my mind.
I forgot about sewing. He could probably put it together. Scamper said, dadgummit, Toasty. Yeah, I think we're all saying dadgummit, Toasty. He's just sniping everybody back and forth. I love the next pick, too. Trey McBride. Brady brought up a great point, or a point here, saying at this point he should be going ahead of Travis Kelce. Do you agree with that, JL? In Dynasty?
That's tough. I think it's getting up there. I'd still take Kelce though. I think Trey McBride's still in that middling tier. Kelsey's gonna fall off though. No matter when.
Yeah. I feel like we started seeing it at the end of the year here. I hate being the one to take the bet, but I'm not going to be the one. In years past, I was saying just draft Kelce in the first round, second round. Just do it. Who cares if it's 2 more years? Well, now I think it might be half a year. And then I do care because you're not going to be able to trade an Egene tight end like that for anything.
Nope.
So Mom said also, who dat at work?
Who dat?
Hopefully my team turns out okay. It's looking pretty good so far. You just need some quarterbacks in there. Jill, where do you stand on Puka Nacua? I'm always curious to get people's take on him. Is he situation dependent? Which the situation looks like it's going to be the exact same next year. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Sean McVay, or is his talent good enough that it's not just dependent on those pieces? Because I do think that affects his dynasty value.
Sure, it certainly does affect his dynasty value. Oh man, now he's gone. I don't think Puka Nacua I wouldn't be taking him ahead of Garrett Wilson in dynasty, or AJ Brown, or Amon-Ra St. Brown, but he is up there. I'd probably, given this draft, I think Puka Nacua probably belongs right after DJ Moore.
Right after DJ Moore?
Yep.
Let's see. So about a round later is where you would put him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm cool with that. I do think Puka went a little bit early in this draft for my taste. I'm not a doubter of the talent. We've seen him succeed even with Cooper Kupp back on the field, but I am a believer in his situation being about as good as it could be. Like I don't see the next move making a situation better.
Yeah. And also, like, he's talented, but he is not as talented as some of these other wide receivers on the board. Even if they didn't have a great season this year, I think they're more talented overall. So I don't think he needs all of the hype. Just give him like 70% of the hype, and it's probably the right spot.
Yeah. You are on the clock. We got Scampers in here saying, I don't hate the pick. I just hate myself for making it. Who'd you pick, Scampers? Tajay Spears calling on the fall of the king. Now, Jail, you know what's going to happen. You know where Derrick Henry's going to play football next year. The Baltimore freaking Ravens is where Derrick Henry's going to play football. It's they love that kind of running back. They just signed Dalvin Cook. They had Melvin Gordon, Latavius Murray, Mark Ingram. Like the like elder superstars are exactly who Baltimore goes after. Except they may actually, that could be scary if Derrick Henry's even 80% of the back that he's been on Baltimore.
I don't know what to do here, Simon. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Hey, I do not dislike the pick whenever we look at the quarterbacks that are still available.
I hate the pick.
Like Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson. But you needed a second quarterback. Who are you going to take? I guess you could take
someone under 40.
Stafford, Ryan Tannehill. Someone who played more than 4 snaps last season over the age of 40.
I do think Aaron Rodgers will try to come back. I don't know if his body's going to let him.
No, I don't know either.
This is a weird spot in the draft. I don't really love the running backs or quarterbacks here, which puts me in a weird spot.
I figure at this point in the 7th round, end of 7th round, beginning of the 8th, the value is good enough for me to take an older running back like Nick Chubb. I know he's coming off an injury, but he got injured at the beginning of the year, had an entire season and a full off season to recover. To pair with Travis Etienne, I'm fine with that. But I agree. I'm glad I have 2 quarterbacks at this point because I'm looking at that draft board and I do not like it.
You don't like Kenny Pickett or Trey Lance?
I do like Trey Lance. Just
you don't like Hendon Hooker, Sammy Howell?
Oh, is Josh Dobbs still available?
Josh Dobbs, yeah, I'm sure we could drag him up somewhere.
Let's throw some Jahan Dotson in there. Man, some of these ADPs not being updated, like Quentin Johnston is just getting buried here. And rightfully so. What, he had like 9 catches his entire rookie season?
Bad.
Where do you stand on players like that? Because Quentin Johnston, his profile coming out of the draft was a project. It is that he is probably the most athletically gifted out of every single wide receiver in this class, but also the least pro ready. And what do you know? He wasn't ready for the NFL. Are you having a longer time frame that you're holding on to a player like that, or a stickier value for a player whose profile was someone that was more of a project, or are you adjusting their value as you would any other player?
Oh, shoot, I didn't know I was on the clock.
I distracted you. You need me to pause it for you?
No, I got it. Yeah, I think I'm of the mindset you have to wait. You have to wait, or you have to cash out your chips, right? And say, I don't believe in him anymore, and I no longer wish to be invested in Quentin Johnston. I think the problem is with rookie rankings, honestly. I think people try to put these players into a linear list, like they try to fit them in, and in their mind that gets like attached, like Quentin Johnston should be valued similarly to the player above him, and I think it's just more complex than that. Players sometimes take longer to develop. Sometimes there's just a bunch of other factors that go into it. And so, yeah, I don't see a ton of players who have that type of upside that he has. And so I'd be stashing him.
I'm with you, Jail. And look at all the uncertainty around him, right? An aging Keenan Allen, an aging Austin Ekeler, a completely new coaching staff, an oft-injured Mike Williams who plays the same part of the field as him. There he goes. To Fruity Duck, taking Quentin Johnston right there.
Fruity
but
Duck.
I do like it. Scott said he had 341 yards and 3 scores. So if he did that on 9 catches, dang. Then went and checked the scores. 38 catches, 432 yards, 2 touchdowns. So I exaggerated a little bit there. He turned it on a little bit towards the end. But it was not the kind of season we saw from Jordan Addison, from Tank Dell, from some of these other rookies that came in and just started lighting things up.
Yep.
And Scott agrees with you, JL. Says probably some upside. He wasn't going to be great right away, though.
Yeah, from TCU as well. So there's definitely some uncertainty around him.
You have to deal with the fact that you're forever a horned frog.
Horned
if
frog.
You go to TCU. Isn't that their mascot?
I believe so, yes.
The horned frog. Actually, a lizard.
Austin Ekeler, what are you doing with him in Dynasty?
I'm scared. I'm terrified. That was the worst player to have on your team this year. Austin Ekeler was responsible for more people losing than I think anybody else because you kept starting him. I just kept starting Austin Ekeler almost all year.
In PPR, he wasn't the worst. He was getting like 15 points a game, basically.
I think what it was is that you didn't make it a decision between players that it should have been a decision with. He's probably being undervalued here in this draft, I do think. He also supposedly was dealing with injuries towards the back half of this season, which checks out based on what we saw from him on the field. But he is older. And the same things that I said could benefit Quentin Johnston. Everything changing around an aging player is less. That uncertainty is more of a bad sign than a good sign. Or it gives me more fear than it does optimism.
Don't tell Larry Fitzgerald.
No, well, Larry's an enigma.
Or Aaron Rodgers, I guess.
Aaron Rodgers, in an entirely different sense than Larry Fitzgerald, is also an enigma. They are not in the same enigma reading group, but they are both in that category.
You know what I think we should do this offseason, Simon? I think we should
meet Larry Fitzgerald.
Darkness. We should definitely meet Larry Fitzgerald. You think he's still in Phoenix?
I don't know. Let's call him. Okay, but to your original point, let's do it. Let's do a darkness retreat.
And we'll make content from it.
It'll all be dark. No, there's a night vision camera, so we can't see, but the camera will be able to have footage of us in there. And we do it together in the same room.
Oh no.
I will say I did dialogue in the dark when I was in high school. Have you ever done that? It's like a traveling exhibit. And what it is it's a blind simulation experience. And so it's like an educational experience on what it's like to be blind. And all of the tour guides are legally blind. And what they do is inside of this building, they simulate like a grocery store, a city park, a street, a dock, a restaurant.
Illegally blind?
Yeah, I guess if you don't register, you're illegally blind.
Dang.
You got to go register those eyes. But it was...
It'll deport you to the dark.
The first 45 minutes were interesting. It was like, wow, this is crazy. But then after 45 minutes, it was like, get me the hell out of here.
I'm done being blind.
Exactly.
This sucks.
Which may have been the whole point of the exhibit.
It's just to get you to realize that being blind sucks.
You get out and they go, see?
No, I didn't.
Also, Craig thinks Quentin Johnson is taller than Scott Fish. Man, Scott, it's pretty cool that has to be a question with you and NFL players. Like, unless they're on the Dolphins, they're probably taller than me. Also, Scott said, I love you guys. I have to take a shower before getting the kids, but I'll be thinking about you in the shower. Scott, good news. Most phones are water resistant now. You can watch us in the shower.
There you go. He's Android, though, so.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Androids have that. Swamp said, damn, who picked Baker?
Baker.
Brady did. That's my boy, Brady. In the 9th round, Will Levis in the 7th or Baker in the 9th? Give me Baker in the 9th.
Neither.
Jail says, give me the roster
Pass.
spot. God, I'm so excited for that Lions-Tampa Bay game.
What time is that game?
I think that's the first game on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, that's the first game on Sunday, so it is at 3 o'clock your time.
Man, I'm so excited for this Ravens game.
Are you worried about the starters being too rested and coming out and falling flat on their feet against the hot Texans offense? That's just the hot narrative right now. I had to say it out loud.
I'm worried about a lot of things. That one, yes, is probably one of them.
God,
I'm just worried that they play down to the team.
You mean like they do every single week?
Like they do every single, yeah. So I guess I'm worried that what they do every single week is going to also happen again this week.
They really just about do. Like whenever I look at their scores of their games, it's incredible how often it's a one-score game, it feels like.
They lost 3 games this year, and I feel like every single one of those was within a score or close to it.
You are on the clock, just so you know, Joe.
So your mom's on the clock, just so you know.
Hey! Toasty, I got to shut you out again. The running back value you got down there, grabbing Aaron Jones, is hot.
Retired.
Say retired.
Retired.
Done. Cooked. Speaking of cooked, is Dalvin Cook going to be the secret to a Super Bowl run for the Ravens?
Maybe.
Expecting them to play on Saturday.
I don't think any running back is going to be the key to the Ravens winning a Super Bowl.
How funny would that be? Super Bowl MVP, Baltimore Raven, Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin, MF, and Cook.
Oh, swampy boy.
Oh, swamp.
Man.
So what do I do about running backs here? Oh, you're on the clock. You're not going to answer.
Well, I'm taking one of the few ones left that I like in David Montgomery. I think down here you take some safe production and you take just high upside and you ignore the freaking Miles Sanders and Cam Akers sitting around in there, and you take either Steady Eddie David Montgomery or to the moon somebody who has an opportunity sitting in front of him.
David Montgomery is what, 27, 26?
Let's see how old David Montgomery is. He is 26 years old.
26. I wonder if we see Jahmyr Gibbs become the lead role next year. I think that'll probably be a conversation everybody's talking about throughout the offseason. David Montgomery might end up being a value in drafts next year.
Yeah. Yeah, he absolutely could. I mean, we see it happen fairly regularly, right? A new name is in town and it pushes value of the other guy down. Travis Etienne's value this year was pretty suppressed because of Tank Bigsby coming into town. Tanks Bisbee. I saw a TikTok where a British guy accidentally called Pepto-Bismol Bapto-Pismol, and I've been giggling about Bapto-Pismol. It's like hard to think Pepto-Bismol after hearing Bapto-Pisbol.
Yeah, I'm just punting running back now. Screw it.
I like it.
You like that I'm punting running back?
I do. It's a fun way to build a team.
Buttle.
And Truly, even in Dynasty, there were guys that you could like. Jerome Ford was on waivers in a lot of Dynasty leagues this year, going into the season. You can find running backs sitting there. Brady said Tampa's expected to offer Baker a contract, especially now that they won a playoff game. JL, would you like Baker more if he signs a 3-year deal in Tampa? Think like Geno Smith.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so he's moving up for you if he signs a 3-year deal.
Yeah, I think Simon, you as well. We both have been Baker fans. I'd say not necessarily like fanboys, but just on
acknowledging he's an above average quarterback.
Yeah, that he's like a decent talent, and he's not anything wild or insane, but he's good enough to be a starter in the NFL. It was just a matter of him finding the right spot, and Tampa Bay seems to fit that narrative. Baker seems to be locked in. He's not letting all this bullshit get to his head. He's there. He's playing. He's having fun, which is like the exact thing you need to do in that situation, is not get in your own head. And so the fact that he's done that this year has impressed me. It's impressed a lot of people. I think if they give him a longer term deal, I love the Geno Smith comp, honestly, because it feels like that's where he would be if he gets a long-term deal, where it's like he's still just slightly above average. You know, Geno is that way. It's like, it's not just because he gets the deal doesn't mean he's going to be up there with the Lamars, but it doesn't mean that he's not valuable.
No, and he's got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin there that he's chucking the ball to. So a 3-year deal with those receivers sitting there, it's yeah, that definitely secures some of that risk that you're having to take on by drafting a quarterback that doesn't have long-term security.
It feels like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have been on the Bucs since we've been born.
I think so. At least since I've been a football fan.
I can't remember a time, when they weren't.
I guess I vaguely remember the ascension of Chris Godwin. Like, it was early in my fantasy football days. A lot of people weren't bought in, but I believe it was one of the footballers, I want to say Jason, when I was listening to their show every day, had Chris Godwin as like their number 2 PPR wide receiver. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with him?
What an idiot.
And then here comes Chris Godwin jumping out of nowhere. Scamper said, Bisbee, Arizona. Beautiful little town.
Have you ever been to Arizona?
I've been to the airport on my way to Hawaii in the 9th grade. We stopped at the Phoenix airport. But besides that, never been. And I'm scared because it's really hot here where I am, and I've just heard it's hotter there.
I've heard
it's hotter in Arizona. Like Phoenix is even hotter than where I live.
Yeah, you get wrecked. You be bitching even in San Antonio. What are you going to do when you get to Phoenix?
I'd be so sad. I might just go beyond the level of bitching and just be sad all the time.
Melt.
Just melt. Yeah. Every time you see me, I'm a little goopier.
Mario Douglas, Nintendo's latest villain.
Demario Douglas, competing with. Did you think Peaches got robbed, JL, in the best original song in a movie category? I'm Ken taking the victory.
I don't know what those words you just said mean.
Well,
I don't know.
The song "I'm Ken" won the award, and
an important one.
Yeah, the big one.
Okay, all right.
I don't know the names of all the fancy movie awards.
I almost asked what award, and then I realized it didn't matter what answer you said. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what it is.
Yeah, it's the big award, the big one. The big one for a song in a movie.
Okay, and who lost and who won? Who won?
Peaches lost, and so did the Billie Eilish song that people loved. But "I'm Ken" from Barbie won. Peaches from the Mario movie.
Oh.
The whole Demario Douglas, the next Mario villain, is what brought me there. I probably should have connected the dots for you before I just started running down that path.
You know I can't connect dots.
You know I don't do line segments. See, I just don't want any of these running backs on my team that are going right here. Not a single one of them. Maybe Brian Robinson, but I don't
Chase Brown?
Here's a lot of the running backs that you saw me pounding the table for last year, I'm going to be out now because Rachaad White, his value is going to be way too. I just saw him going as a top 10 dynasty running back in some rankings I was looking at. Did we watch the same player this year? I loved him because he was going to get 250 touches. And he did very little with those. He just got the volume that a lot of other people didn't get. He didn't look particularly good on the ground. He's just lucky that Sean Tucker was the guy sitting behind him on the depth chart. Keyshawn Vaughn was the guy back there on the depth chart. Chase Edmonds was the guy back there on the depth chart, right? Like he didn't have competition. I do not feel secure in Rachaad White's position at all.
Yeah, there are times where he looked really good on the field, but I'm with you. I think it is interesting that you are kind of flipping side, or you've like shifted sides based off of what you've seen and just how other people are reacting, because you got the outcome that you were touting going into the season.
Yeah, I got exactly the outcome I wanted, but it didn't look good to me. I think his role is not safe on that team, and his production was so tied to volume.
Yeah, that's very intriguing. Bank Tigsby
and Monathan Jingo. J.K. Dobbins is another interesting one. You know what? I'm just never drafting another running back again, JL. We'll probably wrap up this round and then we can call it here. But I think I'm probably just done with running backs in this draft.
Yeah, I think my two weakest positions here are running back and quarterback. And the way I would look at this whenever I'm drafting, I almost always go based off of the way the draft board's going. So if there are a lot of players in one position going, I'll play the other direction. I'm going into this rookie draft, and I'm going to be heavily targeting those early picks in this first year if I can. If I can move one of these wide receivers, by the time the rookie draft happens, it'll likely be months from now. We'll have more information to go off of, and these values will be different. And so I'm not letting like a balanced team stop or like influence my draft strategy too much, but my post-draft strategy is heavily influenced by that construction.
It's going to change who you're targeting in the rookie draft and free agency and trades, things like that.
Exactly, yeah.
This isn't exciting, but I guess I'll take Dallas Goedert here. Like for the value, I think there's a tier break whenever the next tight ends you're looking at are Pat Fryer with Darren Waller, Evan Ingram. Like if this was a full dynasty draft we were going to play out to the end, I would probably grab like a Greg Dulcich, a Chigoziem Okonkwo, like one of these maybe disappointing post-type sleepers a couple rounds later from now. But we are going to be wrapping it up here. John Luke, you're back on the clock. Who are you taking with your last pick today?
Bank Tigsby.
Bank Tigsby. Welcome to the squad. Scamper saying goopy is a vastly underused word.
Agree.
Joe, what do you think is the most vastly underused word?
Cellar door.
Cellar door? Yeah, everyone's always talking about the basement. Tell me about your cellar, man.
Mm.
And Greg said, well, it didn't win the Oscar. Those aren't done yet. So, JL, it was a big award that was not the Oscar.
I don't think you can win a human being, Craig.
And Swamp said, it's okay, JL. I'm also weak at QB. No, Swamp, you've got Derek Carr. You're fine. I'm sure.
Aaron Rodgers?
Sure, everything will work out good there. Guys, thank you so much for coming and drafting with us today. This was the first of what will be many, I'm sure, this offseason. Probably in the next couple weeks, we'll start doing some redraft nonsense just because it's fun to do that way earlier than you ever should. John Luke, any words before we head off into divisional round weekend?
Pasta, drive your Mazda.
And guys, tonight, if you're not doing anything at 11:20 p.m. Eastern time, I will be live on SiriusXM with Bob Harris. Come hang out with us tonight before you go to bed. Listen and brush your teeth or something like that. Until then, adios, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy a football-free evening and get ready for some divisional round playoffs. Adios, everyone.